Hi guys, Simon from W140 Motors 600 SEL project. Today I want to talk about the wiring issues. Well documented on the internet. These cars had certain wires were biodegradable, and it didn't really work. After a couple of years they started cracking up, and then Mercedes went back to normal wiring. But it's really strange. 99% of the loom is fine. It's just certain parts of the loom have problems. So the main ones there's four main ones. The main one down the centre here, you've got an injection rail where you've got the wires for the injectors, and down the front of the engine you've got a few sensors. This is to operate the camshaft magnets, and some sensors, some water sensors over here. So that loom there, it goes up along the back there, and then it goes to this connector here. This is a new loom because the loom on this car was completely shot. So there's a company I use in Germany called Curve Classics. That's the delivery note there. They do all the looms for these cars and older, and they know the problems, and they've got them in stock, and they can send them straight out to you. So on the injection loom, I just bought this new loom. It's all heat proof, heat shrinking, protected, and you could really change one of these in about half an hour. You just take the old one off and clip the old one, new one on, and it goes along the top here, and that clips into there. So that's my recommendation to solve that solution, is to put a brand new loom in. You can get second-hand ones, but you never know what you're buying. So that's one issue with the wiring. The second issue is the throttle bodies. So I've got this throttle body off, and this is the wiring from the throttle body. When you look at the end, it's like a banjo. Now, although this car was built in late 91 and sold in 92, you would expect the wiring on this to be bad, but it's not. I've looked at lots of cars with banjo, this banjo's type fitting, and they're fine. The way you check is you take this cover off. I'd sometimes put a bit of sealant in one of them to stop people opening it. You take this cover off and you check the wires just by looking at them, and you can tell after a while. This is the old wires, and you can see they look a bit sort of grey and dim, and they crack up. As soon as you touch them, the insulation cracks up. The wires in these throttle bodies were nice and bright, and I could see no cracking at all. And I spoke to a couple of people in the trade, and they said the ones with these type of banjo connectors are fine. If you've got a connector that sort of looks like this is a socket, but it looks like this on the end of the cable, then and it's a pre-95 car, then I suggest you take the throttle bodies off, take this cover off, check the wiring. That's the second possible issue. The third issue are these MAF sensors. So you've got a connector on here, you turn that around and it pops off. I've just put a new cable in, and I've run it up there, and you can see I've used cotton cloth. I use this tape, this type of tape, Tessa tape, and I've taped those wires in. Now these are going to be harder to do because they go into the main wiring loom. So your MAF sensors, they go into your main wiring loom. So what I do is I buy this, same again, Curve Classics. They do a kit where you get the connector, brand new connector, and 5 wires. They're different colours, but you can work that out. So you run those cables in the old route, but what you've got here, this is the offside MAF sensor wires. they go in the main loom here, and you really don't want to disturb that. So if you take the modules out of the module box and take this cover off the module box, you'll find the offside math, the pinouts come out here. And what I normally do, I don't really want to disturb this main cable. So what I do is I bring the 5 watt, I just drill a little hole there, put a grommet on and seal it, bring the cables in, and then I go on. I think the offside math goes here and the near side math goes here, and you just buzz out the wires from there to the modules and then replace with your new wiring. Now what I don't do, you get the pins in the kit, but I always find that they never seat properly, and when you put the module back in, it pushes this pin out. So what I do is I strip the wire about 100 mil. The wire's fine, it's just the insulation that's the problem. So I strip the insulation off, put adhesive lined heat shrink, and then connect to my wires, but use the original pin without dislodging them, because I find that even with a correct tool, sometimes they don't seat, and you put it all back together and then you've got a problem. So that's the math wiring. That's the one that's involved. With the throttle bodies, you're best to send them to Curve Classics, and they'll just recondition them for you. And the same with the injection loom. They sell them off the shelf. You have to send your old one back. But the math wiring is a bit more involved because it goes into the main loom, and you've really got to be careful that you don't dislodge all of this in here. So that's how I deal with those. The fourth problem, which I'm going to do another video of, is the they call it the lower main harness. But basically, it's not too bad. There's a connector on the bulkhead right down below the engine, next to the gearbox, and there's a large cable as well that goes to the alternator and the starter. I'll do a separate video on those because that's another problem. But then when you look at the rest of the wiring loom, I've checked it all and it's all fine. It just seems to be injection loom, which you can change easily, throttle bodies, which you're going to have to send them away, math sensors go into the main loom, and you've got a bit of messing around to do here, and then the underbody one is only about four wires go into like oil pressure and oil temp switches, but they do need changing because it's the same insulation. So yeah, the project's nearly finished. All the gaskets have been done, sensors, water pump, distributor caps, coils, spark plug leads, spark plugs, manifold's been painted, new air filters, new oil filters, etc. So I'm looking forward to getting this one back on the road.